Hey everyone, James here. Thanks for checking out this episode. Before we do start things though, just want to say Christmas is around the corner and I've set a target of hitting 3,000 subscribers before then. So, if you could take 2 seconds, click the subscribe button, tap the bell icon, it really would help the channel out. And if we do hit 3,000 subscribers before Christmas, I'm planning on doing a big Christmas giveaway. So, thanks, please enjoy the episode.
Hello, welcome to 90s Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, James Dunstall. Today, very special guest, Mr. Jarrett. I would run through all your accomplishments, but it'll be a 20-minute intro, and we've only got 15 minutes to record. But you are a 4-time WCW World Champion, 6-time NWA, 6-time IC Champion, and 2-time Hall of Famer. Thank you for joining me. How you been today?
Good, my friend. I appreciate you giving me some time. You know, the title of your pod is show is very appropriate. That 90s. You know, we cover a lot of that on My World. So we cover the entire 35-year career and counting. But no, obviously a lot went on in my career in the 90s. So glad to be here, ready to chat My World and anything else that maybe a little English football. You never know what James is going to bring up.
Oh, you never know. As for your podcast, it's been so successful, and I think it's been about 6 months now. And how's it feeling being in the podcast world and taking it by storm? I mean, for a long time, you've been the number one wrestling podcast. So how great is it to step into this sort of thing?
James, you know, if you would have told me in January, February of this year that I'd be sitting here talking to you about my podcast. Look, I've done a lot of media throughout my entire career, but you know, here it is. I got a label, you know, logo on my shirt. But no, it has been really a quite the ride. It's been an experience that I had, you know, so many, and I say this in so many different ways. Doors have opened that I didn't even know the door existed. And you know, the media world, again, I'm a third generation promoter, so I've always engaged with media and the promotion aspect. But looking in the rearview mirror is something that I never, candidly, never had really any interest in it. Yeah, maybe research some shows and data, what that tells us, but always looking forward. But for Conrad and myself, and he approached me with sort of the entire scope and business of it. And again, I've you know, third generation, so I've told these stories or heard the stories told to me for years and years and years. But to get the opportunity to do it in this format, and you know, how Conrad and the entire ad-free team picks the topic, and then we just dive into it. It's been a lot of fun.
Oh, definitely. I'm a big fan of it. And one of the standout episodes for myself and for many other people was the Owen Hart special. And remembering Owen. And one guy wrote, I forgot his name now, but he said how emotional it was because it kind of helped him deal with Owen's passing as well. And it was such a great episode and really is a standout for myself as well. How was it to record that episode? And obviously, you and Owen were great friends. It's been well documented, but I can imagine it was a very emotional episode as you was recording.
And that's something that Conrad, I don't think it gets enough credit. Yeah, he's a great marketer and knows this world very well. But as a host, I don't candidly don't think he gets enough credit for just how good he is at that. Because again, that was episode 3 of My World. I was still, I mean, I was like literally brand new to it, and that's a topic. And you know, I try to bring not only the, I'll call it the infotainment, little information, little entertainment, but also life lessons. And I learned a very important lesson over the last 20 years as it relates to Owen, and that, you know, I think all of us need to, you know, on the one hand, you always hear people, oh man, stop and smell the roses, enjoy good things that are happening in your life. But also, I think if there's something that's worth stopping for, whether it's a tragic event or something good, I think it's so important. That's something, again, I learned the hard way, and you can listen to the episode and I go into much greater detail. But you know, I use the word process a lot. I think it's I think it's vital for myself to process things as we live day in, day out. Because if we don't, at some point, you know, in our being, if we hadn't quite processed it accurately, sometimes We say it can rear its ugly head. There's a lot of different things that go in with it. But the Owen episode, I'm loving the feedback. Like you said, to this day, I'm getting just phenomenal feedback. It's funny, some hard TNA fans will talk about this episode and Vince or Bash at the Beach or Hulk Hogan or Vince McMahon or Shawn Michaels or Kurt Angle, those kind of deals. But the Owen episode is something that I have. It's just an overwhelming amount of feedback
Hmm.
that I've received, and I'm very appreciative of that. Very grateful for that.
Oh, my pleasure. And one thing I suppose that I'll ask you as well, I don't know if you've probably have mentioned it on your podcast, unless I've missed it, but what's your thoughts on the Owen Hart Foundation and AEW partnership and them, like, from next year? I think it's going to be putting on the Owen Hart Cup and things like that. So what's your thoughts on that?
It's excellent. I mean, at the very end of the day, we all, Father Time, to put it into the wrestling analogy, James, Father Time's undefeated. So we all pass on. And the only thing that we don't, that sometimes living in our fast, busy world, which you can relate to mine, we've tried to schedule and reschedule and to do this, but material possessions, or events or triumphs or tragedies, that really all comes and goes with life. But a legacy like Owen left, and there are fans that, obviously Owen now passed away 22 years ago.
Yeah.
So that in and of itself is amazing. But the legacy of Owen Hart is going to be exposed to an entirely new generation in a very positive way. And hats off to everyone involved with all that, Martha and Oj and Athena and the kids, and just how that legacy, but also the awareness it's going to bring to the foundation, and doing good, doing the next right thing, and being able to take the life Owen lived, and it continues to live, and make an impact in a very positive way on a lot of folks' lives.
Oh, 100% agree. And it's great. And obviously, we know the tragedy that happened, but it's great now to obviously not forget about it, but not be the first thing you think of. And now we can celebrate his life and remember the good times.
Yeah, without question. And that's what I'm saying about a legacy. Triumphs and tragedies, whether it's business or personal, they somewhat come and go. But a legacy is something that lives forever. And what a legacy that Owen left, that folks will continue to know and grow and be impacted by.
Yeah. And speaking of legacies, you created TNA, and I've been a fan of TNA for as far as I can remember. And it's seen many change of managements. Do you keep up to date with the current Impact project, or you kind of zoned out from that now?
No, I try to, now do I know what happens on every episode? It's impossible with Raw, SmackDown,
Yeah.
NXT, Rampage, Dynamite, Impact, Ring of Honor situation. But, there's AAA, there's CMLL, New Japan, multiple promotions in Japan. In the UK, your home. I've always been a huge, not just supporter, a really big fan of the UK wrestling scene through the years, in Germany as well. So there is a lot of content out there. So yes, I certainly keep up with Impact. It's impossible to keep up with every episode, but I do. And what's amazing is next June will be 20 years, and they're going to be celebrating their 20-year anniversary. So that's really fascinating to me. Just that little footnote that it's been around 20 years. When you look at WCW, how long they were in existence, obviously Ring of Honor, I'm very hopeful that they come back. But promotion to last 20 years, that's that in and of itself is a milestone.
It is, especially after the recent news we had with Ring of Honor. Like, we don't know if they're going to recontinue back in April, or if they're going to be out of business. So the fact that you created TNA and it's stood the test of time, it's quite an achievement. And obviously, one of the guys you brought in quite early on, Scott D'Amore, is leading the charge, and by all accounts, seems to be doing a great job.
Yep. Yeah. And that is a testament, in the, on a recent episode of My World, me and Conrad got into just how the world has evolved from a media standpoint from 2002.
Yes.
Social media really wasn't even around. Streaming networks weren't around. YouTube wasn't around. So the evolution of entertainment just over 20 years is relatively short. But if you go back from that, prior to cable television in this country, and obviously there in your home country, everybody can relate in different ways. So yeah, it's quite the testimony.
Awesome. And you're a great spokesman, Mr. Jarrett, and obviously everyone listens to your podcast. It's an awesome podcast. And back in the day, Conrad and Bruce used to do the live shows. Is that something you and Conrad's talked about, doing some live shows?
Without question, James. Coming out of the pandemic, lots of moving parts in everybody's world. But we absolutely, I was just in Huntsville 3 weeks ago, and then I was in Huntsville earlier this week, and we're planning for 2022. I'm very excited about that. I am as I've already stated on your show, I'm a promoter. I'm a performer. Been around quite a few years, but that's in my blood. Is whether it's getting on a stage or getting in a ring through the years. But I cannot wait to get out and have some live My World shows.
And fingers crossed, providing restrictions gets lifted, we need you over here in the UK.
I'd love to come across the pond and do a couple of live shows there. Maybe hit, you never know, Nottingham, but certainly, Birmingham, Manchester, Glasgow, London, all points in between. Get over to Wales, get over to Ireland, Northern Ireland. You never know.
When's the last time you've been in the UK? And I mean, obviously, you ran some shows when you was in WWE, so I would imagine you've got some fun stories over your time in the UK, probably with Owen as well.
Oh, there are a lot, quite a few. Last time I was over there was a month before the pandemic, so I was over there for some marketing and some PR stuff. But no, it wasn't that long ago. But the world shut down, but now it's opening back up. So I'm certainly looking forward to getting back there. I'm looking forward to the next time I can come on your show. I appreciate your time today, and just having me on. And my world has continued to roll along, and I get these opportunities to talk about my world and the career, and I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, thank you so much. Absolute pleasure having you on. And yeah, fingers crossed we'll do this again one day, perhaps in person when you're doing your live shows.
Love to, my friend. Love to.
All right, thank you so much.
Thanks, James.